Good day, everybody. How you doing? This is Brian from How We Got Here Genealogy, and I want to welcome you to here to the stream. Whoa, so I got there. That's better. Get rid of that echo. So, how's everybody doing? I just wanted to welcome you here today, and I wanted to say hi. So, where are we there? I'm just waiting for something on my end. So today I'm gonna be. My hair's a mess. I need a haircut desperately. Probably shouldn't talk about that. Anyways, I want to welcome everybody here who's here live. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. And I'm hoping I want to say hi to you people there as well that might be watching on the replay. You know, I like you too. I just want to thank you all for dropping by today. If you want to drop in the chat where you're from Christchurch, New Zealand. Awesome. Is it Dalef? Thank you for dropping by. So today I'm going to be digging into a brick wall of mine that is one of those tougher things that you come across in genealogy, where you have enough information but to get the person, but you don't really have much to go further. In this case, I'm looking at my third great-grandfather, John Nash, and I have a lot of information about him, but I know he was born in Ireland, and I don't know much more else than that as far as beforehand. His wife's name is Bridget. Sorry, his wife's name is it's Margaret. Though it's kind of hard because there's a couple of places where it's written and it looks like it could be Mary, because I've never seen it fully written out Margaret. And so yeah, it gets me into a little bit of a thinking where he was born in Ireland. It doesn't give me that information, which is really kind of sad because that would let me to go farther. Now, from a little bit of investigation I have done, I believe he is in the Waterford area of Ireland. Either there or Cork is what it appears to be, but I'm really getting stuck past that. So I just wanted to talk today a little bit about what do you do when you are stuck. I don't know if you've had these, anybody here has had that same problem before where they're working on something in their genealogy and they just get stuck. I sort of take a process. I go back and I see all the information I have. I try to verify it. I look for other people's that might have possible trees out there that have him located in it. So I'm going to try a couple things today. I'm going to kind of restrict. I'm going to try to use just my heritage to see what I can find. So I'm going to try to do it through looking at some DNA connections and also some records that they have available. So the with my heritage, if you haven't used it before, they've got some great things in their DNA. But I'm going to I'm going to switch to my DNA there, and it's hot in here tonight. I don't like to open that window because it gets so loud. Because I live where there's high traffic. It's a little less now that it's starting into the fall season, but it definitely makes an effect. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we're going to look at that. I'm just going to bring that up here and share my screen. I'm going to try not to show you anybody that is too current. I do want to try to hide their information. And so now it's to try to figure out also who's related to me by whom. So I'm going to do two things. I'm going to try to triangulate people a little, because I do have on that side of the family, on my dad's mother's and my dad's father's side, I have two known relatives. I have my uncle, who would have both of them, but I also have a cousin and on my dad's mother's side, which would only have his mother, so I can possibly narrow people down. So the first thing I really like about, oh yeah, I'm better get here and start sharing my screen. I'm talking about it. Okay. So don't know if you can see there. It's not in the best spot. How's that? That's not great either. Let's try. There we go. Okay. So you see it says 80%, almost, well, roughly 80% Scottish Irish. These two here, I have honestly no clue, and I've talked about that before. I think they're just some oddities in the way that they have their breakdown. I find there is some of that, particularly in my heritage. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at the DNA matches. So this first match is a cousin. He's on my dad's side of the family, but he's on my dad's mother's side of the family specifically. So I know that looking for John Nash, if anybody's related to him here, that will not be helpful. So what I'm going to do, actually, that's true. It's on this one. I think my uncle's on this one, but he's actually on Ancestry. But I'm still doing the tools they have here. So we're going to look at DNA matches, and we're going to try to filter them out for a minute. Honestly, they have to have a family tree. If they don't have a family tree, there's not much use of me trying to find them. And I got locations. I'm going to hedge my bet, and I'm going to search in Ireland first. Just assuming these are people that are related to my mother or my father. So my dad's mother or father, sorry, because both their families are from Ireland. I'm completely Irish on that half of the family. Well, I shouldn't say that, but a little bit of English. Don't tell anybody. My mom's side, I'm all Scottish. So we're going to look at some of these people, and when we review the DNA matches, this is what is really nice. I can review who they're also matched to, because that's what I'm kind of looking for here, is these shared DNA matches. So I'm looking here to see if there's anybody that I know. I'm looking specifically to see if they're related to my cousin I pointed out earlier. And they're not. So, um, that's helpful. And actually, let's go back here. So we did the one filter. We filtered just Ireland. I'm going to try to actually add the filter. Let me do this in here. Filters, family tree relationships. No, it doesn't let me look for people with the same surnames. Okay. So let's look at their tree. They have 14 people in it. I'm not very likely going to find that. I'm looking for something, yeah, like this that has 40 plus. That might be helpful. If they're having that many people in their family tree, then hopefully they possibly could go back that far, depending what they have. So she's one to look into. I'm not going to create a label actually right now. I'm just going to mark this one. 11 people, 29, 520 people. Now this one could be very promising. So these look like the same people. Let's hope their tree is open. Okay. Now, let's look at their names. So I'm going back around the 1820s. Now they have Dugan. Now I have in my family tree. So I'm going to bring that up there. So I'm going to just specifically look at my father's side. There are some Dugans back here. Might be on. Okay. It's not on this tree here because I don't have everything in here. I have it's more on WikiTree because I'm only putting stuff when I get it absolutely sure. But there are some Dugans in my family, but they're off one of these lines here as opposed to this John Nash line. So I'm not seeing them as a possibility. But I'm going to go back. We're going to look at some of these other matches. We're going to look at this one here above that had 29 people. Let's try their tree. And there was the one with 40. So we're going to look at those two things. Yeah, and just drop if you have any questions, drop it in the chat. If you're having problems with your own family tree, let me know. So that's only going back to 1960 something. So that's not really going to be helpful. I did say I have one here that's 40. There we go. So again, not helpful. Two people, that's not going to have many people. This one here. Let's just review their match first. Not seeing them related to anybody. Again, chances are they would be on the Nash side. So this one, 212. So let's review this DNA match. I know this sounds kind of boring today. It really is, and I apologize. Do if you have any questions about this, about your own issues about searching for people in Canada, your family tree, if you have Canadian relations, specifically if you have somebody in Atlantic Canada, Nova Scotia, Prince Edward Island, and New Brunswick. Let's look at their names that they have. They don't have Nash there, so that's no good. So let's go back to the next one. Seven, 3, 6. I wish this would sort it by the size of number of people in the family tree. That would be much more helpful. So 101 people in this family tree. So let's review them. First of all, see if I'm seeing any on here. A lot of these are the same people. So I want to almost say this would be, so it's not related to my other cousin. It's related to my dad's mother. Chances are they might be on my dad's father's side. So there's And this Welsh, it could be Walsh or it could be Welsh. I'm actually tending to think it's actually Walsh. Just in looking at other people in Halifax around that time, I do find some other Walshes that are Irish Catholics there, and from the area. I'm kind of looking here. So we have this one, Vincent Lillis. And now the other thing too, when we're reviewing all these, they're only as good as the what they put into their family trees. So these have Ryans. Now, I definitely have Ryans. That's my grandmother's maiden name. So I'm interested in this one here, if they are, yes. So this here definitely is related on my father's side, on my father's mother's side. So I'm going to put, I'm actually going to wind up tagging this, this Vincent. And what their relationship is. I'm going to tag it there, and the tag is and basically I use my four grandparents and to break it down. I mean, I could filter it if I know for sure, but that's as far as I know for sure this one is. So this would be my grandmother, who was Alice Ryan, and the cousin that was there, his mother was her sister. So that's where that relation would be, and they would be on the same side of the family that way. So we're looking here. There's one person in their family tree, 8 people, 5 people, 268 people. Okay, Geraldine Long, let's review this. Again, Ryan's. And if I'm seeing here, they do not have a match to my cousins that are Ryans, well related to through the Ryan side. So these are Orions. These are Orions. Ryan. So would I call this one a match? I'm gonna put them in here. I'm gonna tag them as Ryan as well. Again, I'm looking here for ones with significant family trees. So they do not have my cousin there, but they have that Geraldine Long, who I'm all related to. So as you'll notice, that's what it's really nice for doing this. 3 people in the family tree, 33. Now, how many do I have in total here? 508. So this could take us a while. We're just going to do this for a little bit more. We're going to see, once we're done here, we're going to try to see what records they might have. There's a Walsh. Now this is interesting. I'm going to check this. So he'd be most likely my fifth. And there we have cares. Okay. Nelly Care. Well, that one's interesting. Let me view their tree. And I'm going to chase my cat out because it just tried to get in here. Okay. So that's not the person I'm looking for. $218. Yeah, I really wish this would sort on the highest ones. It would make it a lot easier here for me to do this. This is another Walsh. So that's tree not available. Antoinette O'Brien Walsh. Well, let's look her up. Exactly. I'm hopefully thinking that this can do a little. So let's see what we have here on her family tree. Now, a Walsh very well could be a married name, so me finding that is not necessarily something to. Only 29 people on the tree, so yeah. Okay, so that's not really giving me a lot that I can see. So we're going to go back to my tree. We're going to look at John because that's who we're dealing with, and we're going to research this person. Now, I'm basing his date of birth around a few things. And this is just here for me, the first record that comes up. I'm basing it on things like I have a, let me see here. This here is a baptism for John Nash, which is a son of the other John, the John Nash I'm looking into. And he was baptized, and the mother's name is Margaret Walsh. Now, when I look at things in, let me see here, I can bring up my other spot that I was working on earlier. on the everything's freezing up there on me. So yeah, just 1 second. I need to close the door. My cat came in, chased my cat out. So yeah, so here we have Thomas F. Nash, who's my great grandfather. So it's actually not him that we're looking at. We're going to go back and we're going to search for because John, I can't even find a death record for him in Nova Scotia. I do have some, at least that I can say for sure is him. So if I'm just looking at the deaths of John Nash, I have a John Dreyer Nash in 1875, but I actually know that's not him because I have records of John in business after 1875. And I don't suspect the name Dreyer is there. So I don't have a death record. Definitely don't have a marriage record of his, and I don't have a birth record. Now, when I look at, again, there's a different John Nash. John Nash here is my grandfather's brother. So when I don't have an actual death record of his, but I do have a record of, let me see if I can find it here. Is see here. Yeah, and if I look in the Canadian census, we're going to look back and we're actually going to add some other censuses. So we're just going to modify the search here. And we're going to look at John Nash, and I know he's in Halifax. Specifically, he was in Ward 3 or Ward 5, I think. So in 1901, 7 years old, that's not him. 1881, 31 years old, that's not him. Considering his son was married in 1870. So just get this one here, could possibly be him being 60 years old in 1871. So 1891, and these are all the ones I have. I have one at 24. So if I look at this John Nash, and I search to see what it has on him. So when we go to the Canadian census, the best thing is to go here, you go and see page number and line number. It should correspond with the results it's giving you. Sometimes they're double pages like this. So I was looking at line 16. So we have John Nash. We have him born in Ireland. We have him as a laborer and a widower. And we have a Bridget, which I would assume would be a daughter, which I do have a Bridget Nash, who is a daughter of John Nash. And then I have this Frances Nash. Again, when we're looking at this, I can't remember this one has relation to head. No, this particular year does not have relation to the head. That's if they're married or not. So that's him as a widower. And it doesn't have anything for Bridget. I do have Bridget's marriage records. So here's John Nash on WikiTree. Okay, this is the John Nash, the son, whose baptismal record I showed you earlier. I believe I have it anyways. And it does list John and Margaret. So let's see if I can show you John Jr.'s. I actually have it listed in here in the sources. One second here. Now, this is Bridget's actually. Let's see. John's. And yeah, this was John I was showing you where it says he was married to Margaret. I also have a marriage record of his daughter, of the daughter Bridget. And I'm going to bring that up here. So we have Bridget Nash here. And it shows, this is in Latin because that's the way it was written back then. So we have her father and her mother. Her father's Johannes, John, and Margarete Walsh. So that'd be Margaret. So again, there we have confirmation of it being Walsh. When I look at the there you go. You hear some loud noise there. That's my wonderful loud area where I live. So I'm just looking for one more thing here. A second. I recently had to redo my whole hard drive. One of my hard drives crashed. I could recover the documents and stuff, but the operating system crashed, so I had to put it on a new hard drive. And when I copy the information over, I put them where I thought I normally put them. So just look at them here. Okay, it's on here. This PC. There. Let's see, it's there. I apologize there. I'm just trying to find something and it won't let me find it. why don't I go back to here? This is how I will find it. Hopefully. You can't see what I'm doing, so I apologize. So yeah, anyways, we got this Bridget Nash, and this is a marriage story of Bridget Nash, and has her parents, John and Margaret. And she married a Jacob Landers, and then I have her death. She wound up dying in Massachusetts. And also in Massachusetts at that time, I have a record of her brother. Sorry, not her brother. Her be her nephew. So we have Patrick. So yeah, Patrick is her brother. Sorry, I have his death record in Massachusetts, and I have her death record in Massachusetts. So if I go to here, Bridget Landers, if I look for my sources here, I have that church records, and then I have her marriage records and a baptism record as well. And then I also have her death record in Massachusetts. If I go to her brother, Patrick, this would be my second great-grandfather. He was married twice. His first wife died a few years after he was married, and his first wife is where my family descends from. Now him and his second wife, they wound up living, Susan Dempsey, they wound up living in Massachusetts where he died. But it's his father that I'm interested in. So let's go back to John. This is something really neat. This is the John Nash and Company. So this is in Halifax. He ran a what we would call a pop shop now. Him and his brother, they ran made cordials, ginger ales. You'll see his son Patrick listed sometimes as a cordial manufacturer, a few other things. I go back here. I have this ad, which is for his and his brother's company, for the ginger ale that they made in Halifax. But this is the most interesting thing. I discovered this on YouTube. It's a John Nash bottle. The fellow who discovered it was nice enough to get me some photos that he had of it. So this is from the pop company, and it's kind of neat, a neat little record there. And it's it would be from my family at one point that would have been popping this. So, and I was able to dig up some information about the history of the building and about some other things. So I have that he was married. I am missing his son John, who was baptized there. So this here, I got to edit. And he was sold on quarter manufacturer. I found some records where it talked about where he bought that building. It was specifically some information about that building, and then basically he operated a steam plant afterwards with 3 employees, and it stayed in business to 1884. So I know he was still alive and did not die in the 1870s. So I know the death record that we have here for John Nash in 1875 is not him. Yeah, I do. LL, I really do thank you for that. I do appreciate the comment. It is sort of the way I walk through and I think through my head. I'm trying to talk out loud and share. Hopefully it's not distracting. Hopefully I'm being coherent. I'm always afraid sometimes I'm not, because I get wandering in my own mind, and I know where it's leading me, and I want to make sure I'm taking you guys in the same direction. So we're looking here for some things that we can find in John Nash. So MyHeritage has a different records that they have. So we're going to search for him in specific records. So my big thing is I'm trying to find out his early days. So I'm trying to find out birth and marriage. And I'm going to search church records first. And the records I want to search are Ireland. So let's narrow this down. I am going to at least put Ireland in there. So it's coming up with all these things, and I know these aren't all have somebody from Ireland in them. But we're going to see what we have here specifically for Ireland when it comes up in their list. I wish it actually would be able to narrow things down. And then I can actually sort this by country. Can I sort that by country? No. I'm going to put his wife's name. It starts M-A-R. Again, I do think it is Margaret. But I've seen it where it just said it looks like it could be Marg or Mary. But everything else pretty much tells me that it is probably is Margaret. So we put the spells. Actually, I'm going to put M-A-R-G. And I'm going to refine my search. And what do we have here? Anything, again, coming up specifically Ireland. Now, you won't find his wife's name here because I was looking for births. So Mr. R. Nash, so that's not at all who I'm looking for. And I don't want to match the year exactly. So let's go back to all collections, marriages and death. It should be some in the church records. The other place to search for Irish church records. Just 1 second, while I bring that up here. Just 1 second. So when I search here, and I search John Nash, and so I'm searching by person. I can browse the database. I have more search options. Let's do more search options. So we just know we have John, we're searching church records, and we're Nash. We have a spouse whose name is Marg. And we're going to have Walsh. And we're going to search. I'm not a robot. I really am not. So I'm not finding any records on there. So I'm going to go back to search more search options. We're going to remove the family member. We're just going to search for baptisms. We're going to choose the year. I'm going to look as early as 1795, as late as 1815. Looking at that, basically, his son John was born in 1842. So if I assumed he was 20 then, yeah, I could be as late as 1820, 22, but let's go to 1820. So looking for baptisms. Okay, it's got quite a few there. So let's go modify my search. John Nash baptism 1795 1820. So I have, this is my problem. I find lots of John Walshes. I have ones that have a great chance of being potential. But because I do not have anything further, I cannot confirm which one it might be. So let's just see. Okay. So we're looking for just John Nash. More search options. John. I believe there's one here that I can choose. No, in this one it doesn't have it. Sometimes they have you can choose the gender. So I would only be looking at male results. Okay. So we have John Nash's here. So I have different records. So this John Nash's father's name was John Nash, and his mother's name was Bridget Finley. So this John Nash, his father was John Nash, his mother was Mary McCarthy. Okay. So this John Nash, we have Nori Berry. See, I don't have Nori as a common name in my family, so Ellen Connell, I don't have any Allens in that back. I would expect to find a few. So we have another John and Bridget. We have a Patrick, which is a common name. And we have an Ann. And this one we have Jeremiah, I'm assuming. And, okay. So actually that's the last John Nash. It's possible it's this one. It's possible it's this one too. So we have, this one is Thomas Nash and Jane Murphy. I do have Thomases in my family, and I'm looking in the 1800 ones in the Nash side. I don't have any Janes. And all things being equal, they tended to there we go. Sorry, didn't realize this wasn't sharing right. So this one here, I'm going through, and I have. Were you not seeing my other tabs when I was sharing them earlier? I apologize. So I'm going to actually get out here. I thought I was sharing my whole page. I just realized that, and nobody said anything. Come on, you need to speak up in the chat if I'm having issues, because sometimes I can be an idiot. So I'm going to share my entire screen. That way I don't make the mistake again. So this here was what I was talking about earlier. This is one second here. We have the baptism of John Nash with John Nash and Margaret Walsh. We have the marriage of Bridget Nash and Jacobus Linden. And we have in Latin here John and Margaret Walsh. So that's her marriage. I'd shown some census things where there was no information. Right now I'm on the Irish genealogy site, irishgenealogy.ie, and I'm trying to figure out which John Nash I could possibly have in this list. So what I'm trying to think of, because I don't know the area he was born, I'm looking at family names, and often when you look at your families, the family names get repeated. So if I look on here, actually let's look down on this pedigree chart here. So if we look down, John Nash, I'm going to take his profile. Oops. And we're going to view him in the tree. We actually want to view the other way. So we want to do family view. So we have John Nash, and we're going to see what names are repeated in the Nash family from the people we have. So we have Bridget. So there's that Bridget and Jacob. And we have Patrick. And then we have, over here, we just have the other John Nash. And then we have a Margaret Nash, an Alexander and married it. Margaret, we have a Michael, and we have a Maria. If I go up one, we go back to these Nashes. If I look at Fred, I have Thomas, I have Patrick, and I have Fred Thomas, or it could be, it's actually on his birth certificate, it's Thomas Frederick. Everyone else I have him as Fred Thomas. So Thomas is a common name that is continued along with Frederick. And then we have Anastasia, Shirley. These are all my grandfather's siblings. There's a lot of them. Again, you'll see Patrick and John and Michael, these common names, which very well could be names that derive from John's parents. And she's listed there as well, so I really should edit her and put her as well, Walsh. So now when I'm going back to the Irish genealogy there, so we have John and John within and Bridget. There we have John and Mary. So we see Mary used quite a bit, but that's a very common in Irish people. And Nori, no, we don't see any Noris. So I'm ruling out this one based on that. And we don't really have any Williams or Honoras. So not that one. Now, again, we have another John and Bridget. So this is in Kerry. And this one here, we have a Thomas and Jane. Now, Thomas, like I said, common. Jane, we don't. So we have Patrick here and we have Anne. We have Patrick's, but we don't have Anne's. And every Irish family, you have some Patrick's. And again, I'm tending towards the ones before 1810, 1812. I thought it was around 1811 he was born. So I'm really, it's making it hard to figure out there. So this one's where here. So these are two John Nashes born fairly close to each other. One was born in the 23rd and the baptism on the 23rd. And other one's baptism on the 23rd, 1805. Two different people though, I think. No, they're the same, sorry. Why did it list it twice there? I'm tempted by this one and this one. I'm more tempted by it. This one. The other things you can search for immigration records. I'm not likely going to find it. At this point, Ireland was still part of the British Empire. And if you were coming from the British Empire and going somewhere else in the British Empire, Canada wasn't a separate country, so there was no citizenship, so no naturalization or anything. You were a British subject, was a British subject. So you're not going to find any real records. You might find the odd passenger list, but considering I don't know the date, I just know the sort of the range. I'm not even confident in that there. So yeah, these are the problems when you start trying to tackle on these brick walls. You hit things where you just can't dig through it. I've been talking for well over an hour now, so I'm gonna quickly do at the end of the Genealogy Happy Hour. I like to do what I call last call. So I'm gonna just put this aside for now. Come back to beautiful large size me. Aren't you lucky? And we're going to go into last call. So what I usually do is I start it off with the ringing the big bell a couple times, and then I
last call.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time I need to announce it's last call at the bar.
Oh.
So, last call is basically a chance for you to get your questions in. Ask me any questions you might have, and I'm going to try to answer them. Whether it's about the topic of brick walls, there's something else in genealogy, you have something that you have a brick wall that you're working on that you need just somebody to put some extra thought into it. Glad to have you do that. The other thing is, 1 second here. If you also look at my, you look on any of my pages, any of my videos, you're always going to see this here. There's an option for you to have a question, to ask that question. And, just 1 second here. I'm going to open this up here. I thought I had it. And I'm going to mute this. Don't know if you knew you can do that. So I'm going to go to my channel, and like I said, you look on any of my videos, especially ones on the last 2 months, I definitely made sure this is on there. Any of my live streams, you'll find it as well. You'll find a link. Like I said, it's a if you go into the more of the chat, you're going to find a link. And the way you can find it is if you're looking there. So you're going to see these. Again, I stopped sharing my page. So this is wonderful. So you're going to see you're going to see this here. It's going to see something like this, and it basically says, use this form, ask me a question. I will try to answer it. This form, what it does, it just, if you're ever watching a video and have a question, do ask it. Gives me a chance to there's options in there for you to put a little more information to. If you have a link to a particular family tree that you want me to look at, I can definitely do that. And that we're going to clear that there. So yeah, this so we'll go with last call. So if there's any questions, do ask them now. I'd love to answer them. Now you're getting in this infinite loop of sharing, which I love, because I do have the video up there. So let's bring it down here. So we're not in that infinite loop. I'm going to get out of here. So yeah, if you have any questions, drop them in chat. You can use that form, and you can, at any point on any of my videos, if you're watching this on replay, you can also drop them in the comments here on any of my weekly live streams. Next week, next week I will be here. It's the week after. I will not be here. I'll be away, and I might try to. I'm going to be away for a wedding. I might try to get a live stream in that week, possibly in the evening or in the day. I'm going to be in the Halifax area, so I might be doing some things around there. I'll hopefully, besides attending the wedding, I'll be able to get some video for some videos, some video content and B-roll for some videos I'm planning for this fall. If you were here last week and you heard me talk about a big video I'm working on, I'm really getting into that now. There's a lot of digging, a lot of information that I'm finding, and I'm wanting to do justice to the person and their family and their accomplishments. So I'm making sure I'm presenting a quality product. And so yeah, if you do have any questions, drop them in now. If not, I want to say goodbye for tonight. I'll leave us with some music. Do remember to like this video and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. I do appreciate it. You can also look in the chat. There's other ways you can support my channel and support me in my genealogy search. If you have a topic you want to think that you can drop it and use that form as well, or put it in a video if there's a topic for a video or a live stream you'd like me to do, or a guest you'd like to me to have on. I haven't had any guests and done my podcast for a while, so I'm hopefully going to be reviving that with a few guests and a few things coming up this winter. But for now, I guess I'm out of here. No, I'm sorry. I do gotta go. It's fine. I've been on here for an hour. I'm sure you're growing tired of me. I'm sure that there's people that are wanting to see me just wrap this up. And no, I'll put music already. Okay, I gotta go. I just really gotta get going. I got some work to do. I got a few other things to do. I just really want to just thank you for dropping by and watching tonight. I do appreciate it. There should be a video if you're watching this on the replay. It'll probably come up here or somewhere shortly. Watch that video. It's the right one for you to watch according to YouTube. You should enjoy it. So you have a great day. And let me say, finally, Farewell.